So I have been looking for a spot welder to do some battery packs. I really didn't want to spend $300 for a spot welder, which is what you will have to spend for the proper spot welder that has a spot welding pen. I didn't think I could use one of the cheaper spot welders that just has the spot welder needles directly mounted on the machine, because I built some bigger packs and those needles, those spot welding arms only stick out 2-3 inches off the machine, so you can only build small battery packs. And you know, when I build packs, I build them pretty big. So either I have to buy the more expensive machine that comes with the spot welding pen, or I have to find an alternative. Well, I went looking for an alternative and decided to buy one of these PCB spot welding kits that you sort of assemble yourself, and they're powered by a Lipo battery. You have to get a high discharge battery. This is a 50C discharge battery, but in theory that can power a spot welder, and we will see if it's any good. So let's open the kit. Here are the needles. These are the spot welding needles. Interesting that one of the tips is already sort of pushed in. I'll have to try and pull that out a bit with a pair of pliers. And I don't know if I need to sharpen these needles at all. We'll have to do some testing with these. Some more cable. Some of the little assembly components. And the PCB. Let's have a look at this PCB here. All right, here is the PCB. You can see it's just a bunch of MOSFETs. You need to put in a capacitor. I think you got to put in a speaker buzzer, and then I think you bolt up some of the wires here. So let me assemble this, and I will, I'll assemble this, and I'll probably put you on time lapse while I assemble this. Then we'll do some testing of this. Okay, I have it assembled. I put the capacitor in place and I put the speaker buzzer in place, and then I crimped up some wires, and these are our two spot welding leads, and here is the battery connection, and I am going to hook up this. Now, by the way, when you do this, remember that your capacitor and your speaker buzzer are actually they both are polarity sensitive. They both have the positive and negative side, and the board was marked correctly. So I also pulled out these needles a little bit. I'm uncertain yet whether I should sharpen these, although my first impression is that I probably should put a little bit of a sharpening on there. Maybe I'll just run it a little bit on a file. Yeah, that's a little better. Of course, this kit came with literally no instructions, so you will have to figure out some of this stuff yourself. But let's find out if this thing can actually spot weld. Here is some, this was included. This is some nickel strip that was included. Now, according to the instructions, this is good up to 0.2 millimeter nickel. I have ordered some 0.15 nickel. This is just the included nickel that came with it. Let's find out if it can weld to itself. So let us find out if this thing is going to work. Let me plug in a battery and hope that nothing shorts out. Okay, it was a little sound from the beeper. I am uncertain as to how this works. I think once you hold this on, it might beep and then automatically discharge. I do not know yet, but we will do this together. We will put the two needles on here and see what happens. I'm going to try and not shock myself. Let me move this out of the way here. And let's do this thing. Nothing. So, now there is a button on here. I am uncertain what this button does. So I'm going to press this button and we will see what this button does. Okay. Oh, there's a countdown. Oh, it did spot weld. Each beep there is a spot weld. Oh, and I guess... Now I think it's still spot welding, so I don't know how to... Oh, it's still... I think it's still spot welding. How do you stop it? Oh, it's still going, okay. Okay, I think these are pulses. Okay, I think we're off here. Okay, what I think is happening is I think one button gets you one pulse, two buttons get you two pulses, three buttons get you three pulses, and then eventually, like 5 buttons, you get to turn it off. It does appear to be off now. It did do a spot weld. You can see it did spot weld here. Let's pull this up here. Yep, it did spot weld. And it's a pretty good spot weld, I have to say. Not bad at all. And that was just the single pulse when I didn't know what I was doing. Let me do another with maybe a double pulse and see what happens. Let's get this fixed up here. Make sure you're in camera, yeah? So I guess one press is one pulse. Two press. Okay, now we're getting this double pulse. So let's try this. Oh! This is a pretty powerful weld now, I have to say. Okay, it's now turned off. Melted into my board a little bit. But yeah, there was a good spark there with that double weld. And I cannot pull that apart with my double weld here. That's pretty impressive here. So that is a really good weld. Yeah, it actually, I don't know if you could see, it actually ripped the metal. It actually ripped the metal. Let's see if you can focus here. It actually ripped the metal where the double weld was. So this thing has potential. This button is super annoying that I have to go cycle through all the spot welds before I get to turn it off. I wish there was just sort of an on-off button. That's a little annoying. But yes, this does seem to weld nickel. But I think the idea here is get all your nickel ready, get all the strips in place, and then go through and do each weld. And like I said, I'd probably use the double or the triple pulse. Go through, do all the welds, And then, when you're done, you cycle through and turn it off. Doing this one at a time is kind of annoying. You do one, and then you have to cycle through all the buttons and get to the off button, and then put down the pens. Now remember, these 2 pens are live. When it is pulsing, these 2 pens are live. So don't, be careful where you put these and how you hold these. But yes, this has potential, and I think I am going to assemble the other 12-volt battery that I have. I think I'm going to assemble that other 12-volt battery using the Spot Welder and some nickel strip, and we will see how it goes.